NewGenGamers.com.
Hey, it's Atari. Welcome back to Console Wars of the Past. Today we're going to be taking a look at Driver 2 for the PlayStation 1 here.
A game that really put infogrames on the map.
Yeah, and made them want to buy Atari later.
Yes, from Reflections Interactive. Driver 1 was a revolutionary title and opened up a huge 3D world on the PlayStation 1 in an urban landscape, and really was a predecessor for what we'd see with Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, this was like almost seemed like the early version of it, but it wasn't done by Rockstar.
Yeah, and the problem that this series ran into that Rockstar really took off with was actually moving around in the city as a character. This game had great racing scenes. It had
good driving mechanics.
Good driving mechanics. The cityscape was great, but once you actually got out of the car in this one, the game kind of broke, and that was a huge problem, and they never really caught up to Grand Theft Auto then.
Yeah, I guess that's why they went calling it Driver. They didn't really want you doing anything else.
Yeah.
Now this is survival mode. You have to avoid the cops as long as possible, but the cops are jerks. They will ram you off the road. They will try to smash you up as best they can.
Yeah, and this is fun as hell. This is a great time.
The idea is to survive more than 30 seconds.
Now, anyone who's never played this and has played Grand Theft Auto can see definitely the similarities. You're driving around in an urban cityscape in, modern type cars. And it has a gritty storyline if you play through the storyline. A lot of, death and mafia.
Dirty double crosses.
Things of that sort. So it's definitely a gritty, interesting storyline. A lot of fun.
Now this is an interesting aspect of it, is the replay. Now you can play through the frames of the animation. You can pause it, and then you can change your camera settings. Say now I want to look at it from this angle. Okay, let's play it now. So you can fluidly change and make it your own cinematic experience, which was definitely a plus to this game. It just opens up a whole different world to you. I mean, with survival mode, you don't have more than 30 seconds to work with, but in other missions or driving games, where this option was available, you could really you or Pursuer. There you go. Now you're in the Pursuer's car. Now see, this is the angle of them chasing me.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of fun with this because you can just sit back and watch your whole antics.
It was just crazy, especially if you had a really good run, and then you could save it and watch it later.
Now, the precursor to this series was Destruction Derby, which was another really great early 3D series for the PlayStation, and it was a demolition derby. You were inside of the bowl of a demolition derby, and you'd smash the other cars until only one survived. And it was a really fun game, and had a lot of car damage effects, which we hadn't seen in many games up to that point. And you see all that carried over into this series. And I believe what followed after this was Stuntman.
Yeah, they followed this up with Stuntman, which really did things with the damage.
So you can see that Reflections has been prolific in car modeling and really making great 3D games since the 90s. So you go from Destruction Derby to Driver to Stuntman, great evolution. So We'll see what eventually they end up with. They've been bought up now, so they really don't exist per se. But
yeah, let's see. What do I want?
the seeds are there.
I'll take the old school Cadillac. Yeah, they had a lot of old school car models in this. Like, you see a lot of older classic cars.
Yeah, and I think that was what they brought to Driver 2. Driver 1, I think, was a little more contemporary.
Yeah, this one was more of like, if I remember the story correctly, kind of set kind of in the past.
Now, after this, they also did Interstate 76, which actually was a complete like retro type game that was set in the 1970s with this type of gritty storyline and this type of gameplay.
Now, this is just your standard take a ride mode.
So you can get into, this is what I like. This is what's fun is, and this was what Grand Theft Auto brought to the table and made really fun, was just cruise, have some fun, and see what you can get into.
So they kind of just set it all up for Grand Theft Auto.
Now, since you have a nice night scene here, let's take a look at the effects that this game was pushing. You see the lights coming off of your taillights, which are actually glowing and giving kind of a strobe effect. It's reflecting on the pavement. You see the streamers when he flashed between views there. Everything's kind of got a glow to it. So there's some real-time lighting going on here with the game. Really great physics. You can see the car is definitely on top of a springy chassis. How you move is how the car moves and fluctuates.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's just kind of floating there.
So there is a lot of really great physics and lighting effects going on in this game that they were pushing on the PlayStation 1 that not a lot of other companies were very successful with. You didn't see a whole lot of real-time lighting on many PlayStation 1 games, which this isn't fully real-time, but there is, some limited lighting from specific sources, like those lampposts there giving off a glow, and the street lights.
If you got multiple cars together, their taillights kind of blended together if you move too quickly, and
yeah, everything has like a really cool stylized effect to it.
You can see the cityscape in the background.
So as you can see here, you just cruise around and see what you can get into. Your damage bar will fill up, so you try not to completely destroy your car. If you get into trouble, your felony bar will go up and the cops will chase you. And when you get into the actual missions, they're mostly drive over here, stop, pick someone up, drive them over here, drop them off.
Now we'll make it exciting.
But they're a lot of fun, especially when you get the cops chasing you like this. And you can get into some intense ordeals. And again, this is another one of the titles that we would not have seen on Nintendo systems. Sega probably would have allowed this, but Sony really embraced these type of titles. These more adult-themed, more gritty storylines.
Yeah, it wasn't just, fun and entertainment. They tried to, do that cinematic thing. With the whole, just pushing towards more or less not the teenagers anymore, but like your college students.
College and adults.
We need a driver. We've heard a lot about you. You any good? Get in.
UJGamers.com